Hey y'all, and welcome to Polita Brawl. My name is Brian, and Jim Jordan shuts up Dan Goldman because not only does he know nothing about Kash Patel's abilities, but because he knows nothing about how the ATF is one of the worst government organizations. Let's dive in.
Now, I want to raise a different point here because not only was Kash Patel recently confirmed to be the director of the FBI, he has never managed a local bakery, much less an institution of the size of the FBI. But then President Trump named him also to be the acting director of the ATF. Mr. Patel spoke at the inaugural summit of an organization called the Gun Owners of America, which says on its website that they advocate for abolishing the ATF. Mr. Jackson, briefly, can you just summarize what would happen if the ATF were abolished?
I mean, we would lose the ability to federally enforce rogue gun dealers, to focus on disrupting problematic iron pipelines, as you spoke of. There's multiple across the country, to prosecute gun traffickers. It would greatly handicap our background check system and our ability to identify and frankly deny dangerous sales of firearms. And most importantly, it will strip us of the ability to look out for emerging threats. We know that there are things like Glock switches and innovations that are happening every day that are making weapons more deadly.
Ghost guns as well. Now, that's not just a potential problem, that's a real problem.
Yeah, I was just going to make a point earlier. One of our Democrat colleagues talked about Kash Patel running the ATF. What I will say is this. When the ATF was run by someone else, I know some of the crazy things that happened. Any of you ever heard of Brian Malinowski? What happened to Mr. Malinowski? They said that he had somehow was accused of selling 6 firearms that he wasn't supposed to sell. Instead of going, and they had a search warrant, instead of going there to Brian Malinowski while he worked, highest paid municipal employee in Little Rock, Arkansas, worked at the Bill and Hillary Clinton Airport. Instead of going to the airport and talking to him, going to his house, and then doing the search warrant, they decided they were going to do a pre-dawn raid. And they were all set to do it on one particular Friday, and then they found out he wasn't home. So they called it off, and they said, we're going to wait till the next Friday when he is home and go at, again, pre-dawn raid. 10 cars pull up, ATF agents and local police. They go up. The first thing you see from the doorbell cam is them putting the tape on the doorbell camera, and then 53 seconds later, Brian Malinowski is shot in the head because he does what any normal person would do. It's why what Mr. Kiley brought up about the crazy law they're proposing in California. He was defending himself. He thought he was getting robbed. Defended himself, gets shot in the head, and dies several hours later. That's the ATF before. So you can criticize Kash Patel. That's ridiculous. Thank goodness he is running the ATF. We don't have the same people who ran it when that happened to Mr. Mountain. Made no sense. 53 seconds. Why not just execute the search warrant like you should? Why not talk to him? Why not pick him up at the airport? Mr. Malinowski, we're going to your house. Call your wife. Let him know where we're coming. We'll go there. We'll execute the search warrant. No, they couldn't do it that way. So I think the good Lord, Kash Patel is running the FBI and, frankly, interim director of the ATF. I don't know if you guys want to, Ms. Miller, you can say something, or Mr. McDermott, I'll let you guys say something if you want, but I thought...
Amen.
Amen. God bless you. I appreciate that.
If it weren't for the IRS, the ATF might be the absolute worst governing body in the entire federal government. I mean, it's been just an awful organization ever since its inception. And one of these witnesses is out there saying, oh, well, we would lose so much information. We wouldn't be able to track certain things. Don't give me that crap. The CIA tracks us through our phones. Let's be real. Google knows where we are at all times. Facebook will magically have ads that you might have dreamed of the night before. Hey, there was one time I had actually fallen asleep and I woke up thinking about going out and getting Chinese for lunch. Well, guess what? I got an ad just about 30 minutes later for Panda Express. These algorithms know us, they understand us. That's what Silicon Valley actually does. And that's why the deep state loves working with and sometimes even telling directly what Silicon Valley can and cannot do. Remember them burying the Hunter laptop story? Hey y'all, are you 50 or older but fed up with AARP's liberal agenda? Join AMAC, the conservative alternative standing for faith, family, and freedom. AMAC members get exclusive discounts, a conservative magazine, and updates on the social issues that you care about most, like Social Security, Medicare, and your freedoms. And right now, you can join for free. No credit card required. Go to amac.us/Politibrawl to claim your free membership today. That's amac.us/Politibrawl. But this poor Democrat Dan Goldman doesn't understand that. And furthermore, adding even more insult to this irony is the fact that this situation that Jim Jordan brought up about a man who was basically no-knock raided by the ATF. This happened about 6 or 7 years ago, and her name was Breonna Taylor. They instituted a no-knock raid and ultimately ended her life in the resulting gunfire and mayhem, all because they refused to just knock on the door, come on in with the proper warrant, and look around. That is exactly what happened in Brian Malinowski's case, and he paid the ultimate price as well, all because the ATF refused to go in exactly when the warrant said they should have gone in. They could have found the weapons and then confiscated them and then dealt with him later. No, they wanted to make everything in one fell swoop. Well, congratulations now. The very man that you could have behind bars and could be giving you extra information is now in the ground. That is the ultimate when it comes to just sheer incompetency. This is a government agency gone rogue, all because they're trying to prove to themselves they're just as tough as the CIA and have a better dental plan than the FBI. By the way, if you got that reference, you're awesome. And so the ATF is often the T-ball league when the CIA and the FBI are playing in the majors. And so the ATF will go off the rails talking about things that don't really matter, or they'll botch entire investigations. For instance, remember Waco? In that case, there was a huge standoff between the ATF and the Branch Davidians. And what ends up happening is the ATF goes in, they find out that there's no drugs, there are no weapons, but they still tell the FBI, hey, you might want to escalate the siege here. We think that there's something worse going on. Well, guess what? A whole mess of people, nearly 100 casualties at the end of that, all because the ATF got a little mad at themselves for finding nothing in the situation. But when you want to talk about current news, Kash Patel has actually been removed as acting head of the ATF, mainly because he wanted to mine it for information. He wanted to take a look at what's there, then give all that extra information to Pam Bondi, and now they can go out with their own task force. And Kash Patel can now give more time to the FBI and start working in those regards, where Pam Bondi can take that information and move elsewhere. This is what's really going on. Attorney General Pam Bondi, who has made protecting gun rights a key part of her agenda, has launched a task force to focus on enforcing Second Amendment of the U.S. Constitution, which protects the right to bear arms, according to a memo. She said the ATF would serve on the task force, along with representatives of other parts of the Justice Department, including the Civil Rights Division. So, as a new head is being looked for, essentially, what they're trying to get at is that Kash Patel has taken a good look at the ATF. He's made his recommendations. He's going to make his report to Trump. Trump is going to anoint a new head of the ATF. Then they're going to work on that joint task force. That new head of the ATF might come to the same conclusion that the Gun Owners of America did, and ultimately recommend that, hey, this organization needs to be abolished. Well, when they've been that incompetent for that long, when they have been doing stupid things since 1993, since the year I was born, up until the point where all because of a no-knock raid, essentially, a man paid the price for their incompetency. Okay, that says this organization of the federal government does not need to be here. Okay? That information that they might have on certain gun restrictions can be done by the FBI. That's the whole point and purpose, by the way, to work across state lines. Why not just give that information over to them? Granted, their track record hasn't exactly been great recently, but you know what? Comparing the FBI to the ATF, again, that's comparing a T-ball league to the major leagues. In the major leagues, there's going to be more stakes involved. In the minor leagues, occasionally you'll see some shakeups. But when it comes to T-ball, when the kids are eating dirt more than they're actually hitting the baseball, at some point you need to wonder, do federal dollars need to be going to this? And I think that's going to be the conclusion that Pam Bondi's going to have. But let me know down in the comments what you think is going to happen to the ATF. My name is Brian. Hope you enjoyed this segment here on Politibrawl. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Catch you on the next one. Until then, y'all have a good one.